So I recently quit my job without a backup. I can't believe I'm sharing this online, but I feel like so many people were in my position and might want to hear my story. The problem is, quitting my job wasn't actually the scary part. I've quit jobs before. I like to try new things. I like to try new areas, but it was quitting my job without having a plan and actually inviting the unknown in rather than pushing it away and always having a plan and sticking to what I thought I needed to be doing. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Serenity Nest. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe to my channel and let's get into this video. So I am currently not working a job right now and I am literally sitting in the unknown. And I think that does scare me. It scares me to stray away from a plan that I had in my head for so long. But what scared me even more was continuing to ignore my intuition. Continuing to try and force something when I knew deep down that something desperately needed to change and that I just kept ignoring that. Now, to give some context, I'm a therapist and I absolutely love the mental health field. I'm super passionate about mental health. I love helping people. So there's genuinely things I love about my job. And that's why whenever I changed jobs, I thought, oh, maybe it's just the circumstances, maybe it's just the location, the population, the issues, something or other that I needed to change. But what I noticed was every single new job that I got, I would have that same feeling coming right back up again, where eventually I would feel like something needed to change again. And then I would change a new job, and then that same feeling would come up eventually. And then I thought something else needed to change. This isn't a video about hating being a therapist because I don't. And I think that's what made this so confusing. And if you're confused because you like the field that you're working in, but you're feeling just so burnt out and like something needs to change, I just want to acknowledge that because that can be so confusing to experience. Like you want to leave, but part of you doesn't want to leave, but you want to do something else, but you genuinely love your field. There can be so many different ways you're looking at it, and that can just get super overwhelming. And that's what I experienced as well. Something can be really meaningful to you, but still not be right for you right now. I was going through so many things over the past few years. I was going through chronic health issues that I'm still dealing with. I was going through relationships. I was going through different jobs, like I said. And I think that it just built up. That's how burnout works. You build up because you're ignoring the small signs until eventually you reach a point where it seems to really just hit you. And you're like, something needs to change. I can't do this anymore. My idea of recovering from that was to switch jobs. Again, trying something new, trying a different population, trying a different place to work, around new people. But I was ignoring what was actually happening underneath. So I was pushing through and pushing through, expecting a different result when that just was not happening for me. Or the result would be temporary and I would feel good. But then after a while, like I said, those same feelings would still come back up again. So if you're experiencing this, it doesn't even have to do with your career. Of course, career is a big one, but it could be a relationship, it could be friendships, it could be who you are, your identity, your values, it could be where you live, like something that you keep trying to force when deep down you don't want to confront it, but you know something needs to change. And changing would involve doing something scary or unknown. And that's exactly what I realized. I was not listening. My head was trying to problem solve myself out of these situations where if I just do A and B, then it'll lead to C, where I just wanted to follow a plan. And I feel like this is so common in people who are perfectionists or people who like to have a plan and like things working out exactly how they want it to feel more in control. That's how I want it to feel. And I'm also a Capricorn, so I feel like that also kind of plays a role in there. I like having a plan. I like knowing what I'm doing. I like feeling grounded. So this idea that in order to actually recover and take a break would mean actually taking a break was like deep down a complete foreign concept to me, which is so crazy because as a therapist, I'm helping people through these exact issues when I wasn't applying it myself. And I feel like that just goes back to that saying of like, you know, you could tell your friend to do something and like see it from a completely different perspective. But when it comes to yourself, that's when people really struggle. And I was experiencing just that. The type of break that I thought I needed was not the break that my body and my mind and my soul needed. I needed a complete shift, which was and is really scary for me. If I put my mind to something, I do it and I want to work toward a goal as best as I possibly can. So the fact that a break to address like everything that I've dealt with in the past few years would mean not having a plan, not having a concrete goal to work toward, not knowing what I'm going to be doing, leaving something that's familiar, that has some structure and some sort of a plan where I feel somewhat in control, to literally enter this void where I'm going to feel lost and I'm going to feel scared, was crazy to me. Your intuition does not always have answers, like concrete answers. It guides you, it informs you once you start listening to it, but it's never wrong. It always tells you where you need to be going. But so many of us, including myself, aren't always attuned to it. But once you start listening to it is when everything changes. Because, I mean, it's true. If you move into the unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. You might do this, you might do that, you might return, you might not return to what was causing you stress in the first place. But right now, in the present moment, whatever's working is not working. And that's what your intuition is telling you. The reason we want to stay in situations that make us unhappy a lot of the time is because it feels safe and it feels familiar. You're used to it, and leaving that feels terrifying. But once you listen to your intuition, is when the weight actually comes off. You don't expect it to, and you still could be really scared and terrified of what the heck you're even doing with your life at that moment, but the weight comes off. That weight, that burden of continuing to live a life that is not working for you. And I left my job very recently, and once I left, my health was not magically fixed. I did not magically decide what I'm doing in my career right now. I might go back, who knows? I didn't magically heal from stress that I've been dealing with for the past few years. None of that is fixed yet. But the difference in the amount of energy I was using to try and make something work that wasn't working to now is indescribable. That's the huge difference now, because I don't feel that anymore. A lot of people think that the relief comes from finding the right answers to all of these questions when you're in the unknown, but the relief actually comes from not fighting what isn't working anymore. And I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow or leave this relationship tomorrow, make some drastic decision, because I understand that everybody's circumstances are completely different, but it might just start with awareness. Even just acknowledging your intuition, acknowledging that something is wrong, maybe setting a boundary, starting to make a plan, just bringing awareness to what's actually happening inside your body can lead to letting go, can lead to actually taking yourself seriously when you've been avoiding that for so long. So I'm still figuring out what I'm doing, and I hope that that brings comfort to someone else who might be figuring out what they're still doing or on their way to starting to listen to themselves more. And I'm hoping that I can take you on that journey too on my channel. But the leaving was not the healing. The leaving created space for the actual healing to be done. And I mistook what actual healing or what a real break actually meant for so long. But now that there's space to do that because I listened to my intuition, that's when the real healing begins. And that's when the real inner work can begin too. So I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. I don't know what your intuition is saying, and I don't know your life. But there is something so freeing once you actually start listening to yourself. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning as I'm sitting here right now, living it, is that it's okay to not know what's going to happen next, and that I'm actually okay with sitting in the unknown and taking this time and space to do so. So if you're going through a similar situation, I hope that this video helped you. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment down below maybe some things that you're experiencing in your life right now where you're feeling really scared or lost, or you're like stepping into the unknown and you're not sure what comes next. I'll see you all next time. Bye.